Welcome back. Shares of Monsanto moving higher today. That's going to be a winner after the German drug and chemicals company Bayer made a $62 billion offer to acquire Monsanto, U.S.-based crops and seed specialist. This is a merger that would create the world's largest agricultural supplier. It's an all-cash offer valuing Monsanto shares at $122 apiece. News that the deal was about to break first reported by Fox Business Network's Charlie Gasparino. He joins us right now on the phone. Charlie, good to talk to you. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's behind this?
Well, I will say this. I mean, listen, it's not a done deal until you see the paper. You see it in the paper that Monsanto has agreed to it. But based on my sources, they want to do this deal, and what I've been told is that they're going to approve it over the next 24, 48 hours. And here's where it becomes interesting. Then, the Obama Justice Department Antitrust Division has not been kind to cross-border mergers and mergers in particular, and neither have the UK regulator, the European regulators. So I think both sides. My guess is we're going to hear from Monsanto based on my sources, soon that they want to do this. But then it becomes a political game. Do the U.S. regulators agree to this? Do the overseas regulators agree to this? I mean, just remember, the Deutsche Börse tried to buy the New York Stock Exchange, and over something is somewhat trifling as listings, the overseas regulators killed the deal. Okay, so we're talking about something much more pertinent to everybody's life, which is drugs on this one.
Yeah, I guess it's the largest deal that a German company would make for a foreign company. But interestingly, Michael Block, this brings into the business lucrative but socially controversial business of genetically modified crops. This is what the Journal is reporting this morning, while paring the share of healthcare in its business. So this genetically modified crop business is highly valued.
Yeah, I mean, we don't think that there's going to be a regulatory, huge regulatory overlap issue in terms of antitrust. The problem is this company is always a lightning rod. When people who don't even know about business, when they think evil corporations, the name Monsanto always comes up because of its GMO. Charlie, what's your sense? How important is this going to be? Is there going to be a lot of scrutiny on it because of that factor?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I mean, the press will be all over it because of that. But I will say this. If you talk to, you do enough reading on this issue, in order to feed the world, we need GMO. Okay, we need genetically modified stuff. I mean, that is the only way the entire world is going to be fed. That's the only way you're going to eradicate world hunger. And I don't know if the Obama Justice Department or the UK the overseas regulators get that, but these are necessary companies. There's no way you can mass-produce food without doing certain things. And I think that's going to be the case that they're going to make. Listen. I shop at Whole Foods all the time. I look at the labels, you know what I'm saying? There's no doubt about that. But I have the luxury of looking at the labels, because I make enough money. And this is going to be a worthy debate about GMOs, just what they do and how important they are to eradicating world hunger. And I think this deal could be the catalyst for that.
Charlie, let's switch gears for a second and talk a little bit about the fact that some of the major investment banks are out of this deal. One of the boutique banks, Ducera, is basically representing Monsanto. And so what are your thoughts about the fact that a lot of the investment banks, now the large-scale investment banks, can't seem to get themselves into these M&A deals anymore?
First off, we should point out, I think Morgan Stanley's on the other side, right?
Yeah.
And, Maria, in this summer, you and I did a story about a guy named Michael Kramer, who was leaving Perella Weinberg to set up his own shop. Well, guess who runs Ducera? None other than Michael Kramer. He's one of the best not big-name bankers out there. He's a restructuring expert. He's involved in Puerto Rico. And he's the guy that's behind Ducera. I mean, this guy might be one of the best bankers in the country, and he created his own boutique. Excuse me?
This is the point Anthony's making. It's not the large Morgan Stanley, Merrill Lynch's of the world.
The technology has gotten so good, Maria, that the relationship just matters more than the big infrastructure around the gigantic banks.
Although I would say this, Anthony, just if we're going to get into the weeds a little bit on this, because of deal flow and there hasn't been great deal flow. A lot of the mid-size investment banks are are struggling. We should point out Perella Weinberg is thinking of merging with a small firm in Texas just because of they need to commoditize, they need to scale down. So I wouldn't be putting the spike through the heart of the major investment banks just yet on these things. But I will say this: if you have a specialist like a Michael Kramer who's really good at restructuring, who's really smart, those are the firms that are going to survive. We should point out that this is not a restructuring. This is on the long end, so it shows you this firm is doing some interesting things. We should point out Paul Taubman doing interesting things with that I think it's a Blackstone spinoff of an investment bank as well.
Right. Hey, Charlie, so Kramer's so good, that leads to this question. Is 122 the end? Is Monsanto going to take that, or are we going higher? Last week I heard 130. What's going to happen here?
Listen, I only know that the deal is good. My sources said last night that the deal is done over the next 24, 48 hours. My guess is we're either at the price or very, very close to it. You know what I'm saying? So this seems to me that this is a price that I think both sides, because they're constructively engaged in this, is the word that bankers use. So my guess was we're right about there. The real question becomes, listen, a bear can't overpay. That there's an issue here. You want to pay a lot, but not overpay. I mean, it's a dance, and that's where we are right now.
Charlie, thanks so much. Charlie Gasparino on the phone for us on this big deal. Stock's going to rally for sure.